basically forced pressure on the 17th Street Canal so that it collapsed on the New Orleans side. There's a thing called a Hoy Cut, where water is pumped from Jefferson Parish, and it meets the water that's pumped from Orleans Parish, and it goes to pump station 6, the biggest pump station in the world, and that pumps it to Lake Pontchartrain. Well, they dammed their side of the Hoy's Cut. So when the storm surge came, all the pressure came in and knocked our side down. But the story does not end there. Once they realized they had implemented their doomsday scenario, which basically let all the pump operators go, and they couldn't pump rainwater out, guess what they did? They got Shaw Industries to come with a temporary generator. They draped huge pipes over their side of the 17th Street Canal and pumped their flood water into the 17th Street Canal, further flooding New Orleans. First thing, St. Bernard Parish. And look, I know you only want me to do 20 minutes, and I'm going to try and stick to that. St. Bernard Parish. To show you how smart they are. Well, we got Camille still here, right? Oh, Lord.
I'm listening.
To show you how smart they are, before the storm hit, they got bulldozers. And you know the road that leads from the lower 9th Ward into Chalmette? Concrete, bricks, dirt. They made a blockage. They didn't want people from the lower 9th Ward going into St. Bernard to loot. Guess what happened? Storm surge came in, started in their area from St. Bernard, and that created a levee that exacerbated the flooding in St. Bernard. So it backfired. And to show you what else they did, they covered a critical sewer pump station and drainage station that we had to get the Corps of Engineers to basically order them to move that stuff. There was another one of those built on Airline Highway by Jefferson Parish. And here's the coup de grace. Here's the one that really tripped me out. Superdome was full. Had to open up the convention center. People started going to the convention center from parishes, from our place, from hotels, you name it. Conditions got so poor there, so bad there, because we had nothing. That was our emergency place that we opened up the last minute. Couldn't screen for guns, so conditions there were horrific. People over there decided that they had had enough. They wanted to march out. We knew that there was one way out, to go across the Mississippi River Bridge, go down the West Bank Expressway 310, then get on I-10, and then you can walk to Baton Rouge. Well, I had made a call to the governor the day before that march was going to happen, and let her know that they were coming. So the next day, they marched. They were met at the bottom of the...
and I was living in Atlanta.
They met they were confronted on the other side of the bridge, and this was a federal highway. They had no authority. The Redmond JP police met them with attack dogs and machine guns, fired shots over the head and told them to get their MFs back. And this was men, women, children, elderly, you name it. And that's what I try and get people to understand in this book. Race and class and politics was with us every step of the way. In some communities, most communities after a disaster, they come together in the spirit of unity. We lost our unity real quick. I got calls 2 or 3 days after the storm from business people saying that they wanted to bring Blackwater type guards into the city to protect part of the place. All right, I said, hell no. Because I can't have Blackwater, who has a reputation for doing all kind of weird stuff, in the city. What if they shoot somebody? They said they didn't care about that. They wanted their stuff protected. And if I didn't do it, and something happened to their stuff, they would be held to pay. Well, a few days later, guess who showed up in the high? Blackwater guards, saying that they would come in, they bust through the door and said, "We're here to protect the mayor." They told us that cockamamie story. What we didn't realize, they had a second group of Blackwater guards that went up to the 27th floor where my suite was, and they were in there trying to put communications equipment in my room. So you had all sorts of stuff happening in the city. Let me tell you a good story. Superdome. Day before, it was a near riot. Some people would say, look, we're going to take over. We think there's some buses, there's some food that we don't know about, and just holding it from us. So we're going to create a diversion, and we're going to take control of the National Guard guns, and we're going to turn the situation around. Shot was fired below the Superdome ledge, and it was on. Thank God we turned it around, and nothing happened that day. The next day, promises of buses coming. No buses. Hottest day in New Orleans. People standing on the ledge between the Superdome and the shopping center area. Wouldn't move because they didn't want to lose their place. Because if they lost their place, they thought they wouldn't get on the bus if it did show up. So whatever they had to do, they did it right there. Pressure was building. People were so angry, they started pushing on the barricades. And there was 30,000 of them and 300 of us. They could have easily overpowered us, just like that. At the time, I thought all hell was going to break loose. I said, well, God, I don't know what's going to happen, but maybe this is it. A little cloud came over the Superdome. And then right at that moment when they were getting ready to push over those barricades, it started raining. Not a thunderstorm, not anything really violent, a nice, calming rain. And it cooled the people down, and the pressure was relieved, and they went back to the Superdome, and we lived to fight another day. So there are many, many stories that people do not know about that I want to bring forward in this book. It was a fight. It was a fight for survival. I haven't even gotten to the point where we were planning for the rebuilding of the city and trying to put together to bring back New Orleans Commission and the Green Dots and all that foolishness. And Lord, don't talk about the travel trails. This was an amazing story, and one of the things I wanted to do with this book is to tell our story and get people to really understand what happened to us, so that this could never, ever happen again in another American city. One of the things I noticed when I got out of office is, at one point in time, if you Google Katrina, New Orleans, you get as many as 56 million search results. And as I started going through it, I was like, this is not what really happened. So, and I'll never forget Clancy, God bless his soul. He got upset with me because I wouldn't go have a special meeting in Lakeview with him and his folk. Because I said, look, we're having meetings downtown, come on down here. So he started making noise. But